What's up, guys? Welcome on into Capital Presence Online Academy, our YouTube channel. And today we're going to get into collaboration within Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365. So Microsoft Teams lets you quickly pull together a team with people inside and outside your organization. And today we're going to get into the different ways that you can collaborate with them. We're going to get into the different types of teams. We're going to get into what an owner and a member of a team is and how you can architect your teams for collaboration and success. So we're going to get into that on the other side. So I will see you on the other side. Let's go ahead and get started. So we have Microsoft Teams, which I have on this side over here for me. So this is a web-based or a desktop-based chat application. Everything we're going to go over today, you can actually do in both environments. And so what we're going to get into is we're going to get into collaboration. And so like I said, Microsoft Teams lets you quickly pull together different resources, people inside and outside your organization. So you can chat with other people, you can share documents, you can drive fast and inclusive conversations and collaboration around documents and data. So it is a great tool. You can securely, which is a key word there, securely share and co-author documents, whether on projects, teams. It's a great tool and resource to get around certain information. So we're going to dive into that here. And I'm just going to hide myself because you don't really need to see me. But this is Microsoft Teams. I'm using the web-based, but like I said, you can do this on the web or the desktop. It's all the same. And so to achieve the goal of collaboration, which is ultimately what we want to do, we want to make sure that we're maintaining a flat hierarchy. And so what a flat hierarchy is that all teams can be easily moved and migrated to wherever they are going to live. So traditionally we have this pyramid approach to hierarchy. And so the pyramid approach was you had a top level and then you had a subsite and then a subsite to that and a subsite to that, and they were all linked through this hierarchy pyramid approach. In a flat architecture, you want your teams to be across the board. So Teams, you want to make sure that Microsoft Teams, the way that you set it up, is done this way. So which Teams by default does it that way, but don't get into this subsite approach of the legacy applications. So if that confuses you, we're about to dive a little bit into this, but I just wanted to make sure that we understood that we're going about things here in a flat architecture approach. And so Teams only provides two different user roles by default. Those are owners and members. Owners are full control, members have edit rights. Those are your default permissions within Microsoft Teams and how they equate in Microsoft SharePoint. And so there's a couple key things that we're going to have to go over here together. First would be a team. So what is a team? And a team is a collection of people, content, and tools surrounding different projects and outcomes within an organization. And so we find our teams here in the Microsoft Teams application. So when you first open it up, it might look something like this. You have your activity bell, but if we click on Teams, which are these people right here, you're going to be able to see all of the teams within your organization. And so these are made up of people, data, and documents. And so there are multiple different types of teams within your organizations that you can create. So the first would be an org-wide team. An org-wide teams provides an automatic way for everyone within your business to be a part of a single team and collaboration. And it's limited to organizations with no more than 10,000 users. So if you are an enterprise organization, an org-wide team might not be the best way to go for you. And so you can do that down here by join or create a team. And in doing that, it's going to give you a couple different options. This join code is one way you can do it. The other would be clicking create a team. If we create a team, it's going to ask us a couple different things from scratch, from a group. There's also these templates down here that we could do. So these templates are for projects within teams that are going to have pre-built channels, which we'll get into what a channel is here in a second. If we choose from scratch, it's going to ask us what type of team do you want to build. And we can do a private, a public, or an org-wide. And so what we had just said was that an org-wide team provides an automatic way for everyone within your small to medium-sized business, again, large enterprise of 10,000 or more, are not going to be able to really use this. But that's what an org-wide team does. A public team are open to anyone within the organization can join, but they are not automatically joined. So they can join through that join code that we just showed, but they are not automatically added. That's what a public team is. A private team consists only of invited users, which is what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on private channels because these are the majority of what you guys are going to be creating. So we're going to click Create Private Channel. Let's just call this Test Team. You can add a description, which descriptions are important because when you're on the administrative side of things and you're going through what teams that you have and you're going through your life cycle, a description is important because it helps identify what the use of this team is. We're just going to say this is a test team and can be deleted. I'm using a demo environment, so it doesn't really matter, but in a real scenario, you'll want to use the description to help out your administrative teams. So we're going to go ahead and click Create. Now it's going to bring us to a new page. And so within this, oh, come on, nice work. There we go. Thank you. So now what it has done, it has created the back end, the Microsoft team, which is a SharePoint environment and this team environment. Now it's going to say, well, who do you want to be a part of this? Because remember, we have created this as a private team. And so a private team consists only of invited users. So this is where we get the opportunity to invite those users. So I'm going to say Adele, and I can add her. And then who else do we have in this environment? I don't remember. Ashley, I think, is one, right? Oh, there we go. Let's just say Lynn. Who else we got? Alex. There we go. And add. Now, if you'll see, by default, all of these are granted the member permissions. I can choose Adele and say, I want to upgrade her to an owner by choosing this dropdown, which I will do. So now I have made her an owner. It already adds them in, and I can just simply hit close. Now when I go into my team, so I'm already in it by default. Here it is. If I wanted to, I can click and drag and bring it up here to the top if I want it to be up here, and I can even pin a channel if I wanted to. But that's how you would order out your teams. Now, to see who I've already added, I can click on these three dots and I can click Manage Team if I wanted to see, or if I wanted to quickly add somebody, I can do Add a Member. Okay, following me so far? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over what a channel is, because there's actually three different types of channels as well for the within teams and collaboration. So a channel is a team. A team is made up of channels. Sorry. So a channel is a section of your team. And so channels are the collaboration spaces within a team where the actual work gets accomplished. So channels are where you hold meetings, have conversations, work on files, have chats together. This is really the backbone of your Microsoft Teams team. And so there are three different types of channels, which we'll go over, and we'll create all three of them together. The first one is a standard channel, which you can see that the general channel has already been created. That is a standard channel. So standard channels are visible to all team members, which are available for conversations that everyone on a team can participate in. And they also create folders within the SharePoint environment. So here we have our general channel. We'll see the files here that are within the general channel. Now you'll see this documents. This documents was actually created for the team on SharePoint. And now that we have the general folder, which exists with the general channel. Okay, so I can say in channels, I can say general. So this is a standard channel. And if I were to click three dots, add a channel, by default, it's going to create a standard channel. So if I call this like leadership, this is the leadership channel. Okay, I could change the privacy right here to standard, private, or shared. Now, standard will, again, add all members who are part of this team into this channel. Everyone will already have access to it. If I choose a private, which is what I'm going to do, then it's actually going to break the inheritance of the team, and I can add members to this leadership. So I can say Adele, she would be the only one that I want on here because she is the owner, and maybe I can make her an owner or a member of this, but we'll just keep it as a member just to keep things simple. And so now you'll see this little lock here. And so the important thing to note is that I cannot add external members to the test team. So if this test team, these are actually the leadership of the test team. I cannot add a sales and marketing member to this leadership. I cannot add the executives to this. They have to be a member of the greater team. So this, I can only add members from the parent team into a private channel. So private channels create focused spaces for collaboration within a team. Anyone, including guests, can be added as a member of a private channel as long as they are already members of the team, the greater team. Only the users on the team who are owners or members of the private channel can access the channel. So that is extremely important. Private channels are subgroups of the greater team. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Roy, what if I wanted to create a space where I can invite other members who are not part of this team, but I want to give them access to this channel? Great question. That's actually called a shared channel. And so shared channels create collaboration spaces where you can invite people who are not in the greater team. And these users can securely collaborate with users or groups across the teams and organizations within that shared channel. And so that's extremely important to note. And so let's do that together now. So if I hit this 3, add a channel. Now we'll call this executive. And I'll say this is for all executives. And then I'm going to make this a shared channel. Share this channel with everyone on the team. No. I could if I wanted to, but I'll say no. And I'll hit create. And it's going to say, who do you want to add? And so maybe I want to add in Adele. And I can do that. And then let's choose somebody that we didn't add prior to. So we didn't add Isaiah. But maybe he's some sort of executive that we want to make sure that has access. So we can hit done. So we have the leadership team, which is a private channel. They're the leadership of the test team. And then we have the executive team where leadership can collaborate with executive members that are not part of the greater team. Whereas if I were to go into general, I cannot change the permissions to a standard channel. That's what general is. I can't change the permissions. Everyone already has access to it. Leadership is a private channel. And if I wanted to add members, they have to be part of the greater. So if I try to add Isaiah to this, look, he's not there, right? If I type in L, it's only going to give me members who are part of the parent team. That's what a private channel is. And then we have shared, which this I can add anyone from our tenant to bring them in. These are the 3 different types of channels within Microsoft Teams. And so Teams can be dynamic for project-based work. Okay, such as running projects or rollouts or any type of thing that your team is trying to accomplish, and for ongoing things as well. You could do if you have an IT team, you can go about that way. So it doesn't have to be project based, but it can be. And this is built to reflect internal structures of your organization, such as departments and office locations, which is an important part of the way that you choose to architect your team's environment. All data within a team, such as conversations, files, notes across the team channels, are they're only visible to team members of the team. Important to note, unless what we talked about, it is a shared channel, right? So at the top of each channel, you'll find tabs, which we just clicked on tabs, which are basically links to your favorite files, apps, services, and things within that you're sharing within your team. So let's go over that real quick. These are your tabs. So we have posts, which I can start a new conversation and say, hi, I've started this in the executive, and I can actually add a new tab. So I'll add an Excel sheet. I don't know if I have any Excel sheets in this environment, so I do. Look at that. Contotso purchasing. So I can add that Excel sheet up here in the tab for the executives to work on. But notice when I click in general, that's not there. I can add a new tab here under general, which will be for everybody. I could add a OneNote so that we can all take notes together. I'll do team test notebook and I'll hit save. And now the team test notebook is added here for everyone to be able to edit it, right? And then but if I go to leadership, it's not there. If I go to executives, it's not there. So we can customize these tabs up here for each channel. Now, let's get back into the documents real quick, and this will be the final thing that I go over. We mentioned that each channel has files. So if I go to general files, I see the general documents. If I go to leadership, which was a private channel, and I go to files, I just see the leadership documents. If I click on executives and I click on files, I only see documents for executives. That's because these three channels, since they were built three different ways, will have actually three different places where the documents are built. General, since it's a standard channel, so I'll add a new standard channel. I'll say standard channel and hit add. Now, this will help you understand this a little more. If I go to standard channel and I click on files, I only see documents from the standard channel. But what I can do under general is I can click on documents, and then I can see the standard channel because it's in the site library. Make sense? Because I created this standard channel under the team, so everyone has default access to it, so it is already always going to be available for members. Executive and leadership, since they are private and shared channels, do not have this luxury. They're actually built in a separate location. And so if I click on files here under leadership, which is a private channel, and I click on the three dots and I click open in SharePoint, you'll actually see that it says test team -leadership, which is actually a totally different environment. You'll see up here that the site is called test team leadership. The same thing applies to executive. If I click on files and I go to three dots, open in SharePoint, I'll see test team executive. And so test team executive is the name of the site, which you can see up here in the URL. So that's important to note. A standard channel creates a folder in the existing team. Private channels create its own team site, but the permissions for a private channel, they can only be members of the parent team. A shared channel creates its own team site as well. It creates another SharePoint site, but it can include members external to the team. Those are the three different types of channels that are important for collaboration. Again, a team is a collection of people, content, and tools surrounding different projects and outcomes within an organization, and they have three different types of teams: org-wide teams, public teams, and private teams. And then those teams can have channels. And inside those channels, those three different types of channels are standard channels, private channels, and shared channels. So that is collaboration within Microsoft Teams and how to go through the process of architecting your Microsoft Teams environment. These concepts right here in this video will help you prepare for the MS-900 as you start to think about your architecture within Microsoft Teams. It'll also help you architect your own environment and begin to think about the projects and life cycle of these teams and how your environment should be orchestrated. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. I know this has been a little bit more technical, and we're going to continue to dive into the MS-900 and how you can prepare for it. And we're actually going to have a masterclass on the MS-900 on our online academy, which we'll be releasing. It'll be a paid training subscription platform that actually help you prepare for the MS-900. Where we'll go through and break down videos like this on how you can best prepare for the MS-900 and ultimately pass it. So hopefully you guys got a lot of it out of this. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for hanging out, guys. And until next time, see you. Hey there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for all the latest videos from Capital Presence.